Senator Elizabeth Warren delivering a floor speech earlier this afternoon addressing corruption among high-ranking Federal Reserve officials. This comes after Warren called for an insider trading investigation at the central bank, asking SEC Chair Gary Gensler to look into these transactions carried out by Vice Chair Richard Clarida, outgoing Dallas Fed President Robert Kaplan, and former Boston Fed President Eric Rosengren. The Fed announcing yesterday that it has asked its Inspector General to start an independent review of those trading practices. Senator Warren joins us now for a first on CNBC interview. Senator Warren, good to have you back on the show. Welcome.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
I did want to start with your comments, which made a ton of news and got a lot of attention, calling out the Fed chair as a dangerous man. And I understand your criticism around financial regulation, but isn't it hyperbole to go there and call him a dangerous man? Isn't it just unnecessary smearing instead of having an honest conversation about the issue?
I have been having a conversation about the issues for years now, since the very first hearing with the chairman. But just remember what happened in the lead up to 2008. We had a Federal Reserve that just piece at a time kept deregulating, refused to rein in the largest financial institutions. It didn't happen with one big step, with one explosion. No, it was just a little bit and a little bit more and a little bit more until those giant financial institutions had loaded up on risk, and then they blew up the entire economy. It is the job of the regulators to make certain that the rules are tough enough and to show that they are willing to rein in the largest financial institutions. That's how they protect the American economy. That's how they protect American families.
We can talk about that, and I hear you, and nobody wants another financial crisis, certainly, Senator Warren, and we should talk about it. But why the name-calling of a dangerous man for a man that acted pretty swiftly and pretty in a huge way and creatively to protect our economy and our system from a global financial crisis during COVID-19?
The Federal Reserve Chair has two principal responsibilities. One is monetary policy, and the other is regulation, is to make sure that giant financial institutions are not loading up on risk, to make certain that banking regulators have the tools they need in order to avert future financial crises. That is the job of the chair of the Federal Reserve. When Chair Powell was not yet chair, when he was first nominated, I asked him, of all the financial regulations you see, can you name just one that you think maybe should be tightened up just even a little bit? And the answer was no. And what's happened in the years since then, during his time as chair, is piece at a time, he has, when given the choice, always moved toward deregulation, toward weakening. And this creates trouble that we can already see in the economy. We saw it last year when the Fed's own report stated that if the Fed had not rushed in with taxpayer dollars to support the market, the banks would have lost about $300 billion. That's loading up on risk. Now, so far, I think that we've been lucky. There hasn't been a major crash, but we need someone who heads up the Fed who takes both jobs seriously, monetary policy and regulation over the biggest financial institutions.